You work some with the O-line. Where do you think this O-line is at this point of camp, kind of the midway point?
I think they're progressing. Obviously, we got some veteran leadership on the group, but obviously my main expertise is focusing on the tight ends here. But just watching these guys every day in our jog throughs and seeing how they progress through team periods, I think we're progressing in the right direction. And I think guys like Mike Minute and Will Fries and guys like that are stepping up for leadership. I think we'll be real happy where they are when we finish camp.
And I know you have to focus on tight ends, but one guy a lot of people are looking at is Rashid as a young guy. What have you seen from him at tackle?
Rashid has come out every day, and he's done what we asked him to, focusing on the process, getting a little bit better day by day, getting 1% better, if you will, and I think that's showing up. And he's playing some really consistent football right now.
Tyler, when Pat comes into a season as a known commodity and getting game plan are going to be focused on him a lot, what are the biggest challenges is that he's going to have to overcome, maybe break through, that he didn't see last year?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, obviously, people are, they're going to know who he is based on the number of touchdowns he scored last year. But the biggest thing for him this offseason is just getting better technically. Even if people are game planning for him, technique's going to win. We talk about there's 3 phases to learning, what we're doing schematically, and that's who and what. Who do we block? What route do we run? How, which is what we're going to focus on the most to, and then the why. And I think the biggest thing he's focused on in the offseason is understanding why things happen, where he fits in the scheme, and then obviously the how-to part, really getting better technically. I think that's going to take his game to the next level, regardless of how people, plan against him.
How has Nick Bowers developed in this past year, especially when he's been healthy?
A lot. It's been great to see Nick healthy, and I think, really Nick, up until this year, other than his freshman year, hadn't played a lot of football. So it was great to see him kind of come on down the back stretch of last year, and then now having a full year healthy and a full offseason healthy. It's been exciting to watch him grow and develop. I'm very pleased with where Nick is.
What's the next step for a guy like that?
For Nick, just continuing to get reps and seeing different looks and things like that at practice. Every day he gets a little better. He's a very conscientious guy, wants to be great. So you're seeing him improve every day in practice. I don't expect that to stop anytime soon.
How confident is this offense getting into a 2 tight end attack, and is that progressed quite a bit? The thought of maybe doing that with more routine than when you first started with the program?
Well, if you saw it down the backstretch of last year, the last 4 games, we were anywhere between 7 and 10% in 2 tight end sets. But I think we're going to look at it the same way on offense, regardless of what personnel grouping it is. If it gives us an advantage in a game, then we're going to use it. If it doesn't, we're not. We're not going to try to fit a square peg into a round hole. But if that gives us an advantage per week, then yeah, we can get into 2 tight end sets. If 4 wide receiver sets give us an advantage for a week, then that gives us an advantage. We're just going to look at it very, like a blank slate, and whatever helps us win, we're going to do that.
In this offense, Tyler, how many tight ends can you realistically use? Not at the same time, but I mean, when you get into game week, how many guys do you plan to prepare to play in games?
Well, we always have, traveled. I believe last year we were traveling between 4 and 5.
Okay.
You're always doing that. It's a position that does a lot of different things. So you've got guys with different skill sets and things like that. Obviously, you prefer to have a guy that can do it all. But it's just like any other offense. Every offense is personnel driven. So we're going to look at who are our best 5 playmakers outside of the quarterback and the offensive line, and that's who we're going to put on the field. So I guess the number could be unlimited, but it's whatever we feel is going to give us the best opportunity to win a game per that week.
But I mean, in terms of guys that you have to prepare to play, even if a guy doesn't necessarily play, are you looking at 4 or 5 again?
Well, I think right now we got 4 guys on scholarship, and we're preparing all those guys to go into the game to be ready to play.
Got it.
Yes, sir.